So why are you vulnerable to abuse? Why do you allow people to treat you differently from the way that you treat people? What is that? What happened? What made you believe that that's okay? Or if even if you don't believe it's okay, to tolerate that. And that's where you get into this self-analysis part of this, because I honestly believe that unless it's good to know why people abuse. And we can talk about that for sure. What makes somebody an abuser? But you've got to figure out why you're vulnerable to abuse, because unless you do that very deep self-worth work and you understand at which point in your life did you stop believing that you had enough value for people to treat you the way that you treat them, no better, no worse, not narcissistic. Everybody has to treat me like I'm a princess, but at least the way that I treat them, what happened? And that is probably, I would say, the most pivotal exercise that we often leave out of what I call abuse recovery. Because for me, it's a recovery process, right? And because it is difficult to go and look at that. That's the most painful process, is when you have to go into the past and you've got to go, who did what to me? Also, what did I do wrong? Because your self-worth is not only affected by what other people did to you, but it's also what you did wrong. Even if you were like mean to a kid when you were in school and you didn't know any better, or maybe I stole a bag of peanuts once from a grocery store because my grandmother brought my brother a bag of chips and she didn't want to buy me peanuts. And so I took it home, and that I carried that with me for decades, believing that there's something wrong with me because I stole a bag of peanuts. So unless you do this work and you figure out how have I been harmed, so therefore I will allow other people, my self-worth has been reduced. So I believe that I can be hit, or my things can be taken from me, or I can be screamed at, or told how pathetic I am, because deep inside I believe that I am.
Right.
So you've got to get rid of that. I think that's the hardest exercise to do in probably in the first part of the getting out process.
To see the full episode of Break the Silence Against Domestic Violence's podcast, check out our YouTube channel today.